Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andy and you're watching the Opinionated Reefer YouTube channel. So, this is my new setup. The Red Sea Reefer 350 is gone, it's been sold, and what remains of my fish and corals are now in this tank. The tank is a 45cm by 45cm by 45cm tall nano tank. It's been up and running about 6 weeks at this point, and in this video I'll go into details about how I went about setting this up and how I was able to add so many sensitive corals so early in the tank's lifespan. So if you like the look of this tank and it's something you might want to follow along with, then please do me a big favour and subscribe to the channel, guys. It helps a lot. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the tank I used was an Amtra Nano Tank 90. I know, I had never heard of it either, but it seemed to be exactly what I was looking for. It was exactly the right size, and I've always liked the sort of curved front, low iron glass nano cubes that you get in the freshwater space, and this was exactly it, except a bit bigger than usual. But as you can see, the quality control must have been non-existent. The silicon was absolutely atrocious. There's no way I would have trusted that to hold water, so I decided I was going to send it back. But what happened was the Amazon delivery driver never turned up to pick it up, and they sent me a second tank that arrived broken. So I ended up phoning up and complaining to Amazon, and they told me just to keep the tank. So seeing as how I basically got the tank free of charge, I decided maybe it was worth getting the tank resealed, as it is a lovely tank. So I contacted an LFS that does custom tank work and got him to reseal the tank and build me a custom sump to go with it. I also got him to install a black background and drill the 3 holes that I needed for the pipework. So a big shout out to Craig at East End Aquatics Glasgow for doing that for me. So I basically picked that tank because I already had this lovely Red Sea Max Nano stand, and this fitted perfectly. One good thing about it being a nano tank is you can put it on wheels. So as you can see, the tank and stand were a perfect match. They looked like they were made for each other, which I was very happy with. So for the main drain and the return, I decided to go for these Lifeguard Aquatics bulkhead fittings, basically because they're cheap and simple, and it seemed like a good idea at the time, but in hindsight I wish I'd went for a proper overflow. But anyway, this is how it actually ended up getting plumbed, with a large drain feeding into a filter sock and the 2 return nozzles. But as I said, it was a bit of a mistake to use these because it turned out to be pretty noisy, as you can see here. I ended up getting quite a bit of gargling, but that sort of went away after a while once the inside of the pipework had slimed up a bit. Another thing I did was drill a slight hole here at the bottom of the pipework to allow some of the air to escape. This was a few weeks later after the pipework had slimed up, and it did quieten down a bit. For the scape, I picked up this lovely ceramic piece from a company called Aquascapes in the UK that make a lot of nice scapes. I honestly could not be happier with this. It fits the tank perfectly and is exactly what I was looking for. Now, I never actually commissioned this scape, I just picked it up on eBay in a random auction, but I would definitely consider commissioning these guys to build my escape at some point in the future. So this was the tank after I had it set up. Now as you can see, it's already covered in coralline algae and has this sort of lovely two-tone effect. What I actually did was I placed it in the Reefer 350 for 6 weeks before I set this new tank up, and it was effectively like starting the tank with live rock. I could add the corals within days. I also used some Ocean Direct live sand to further help seed the tank with life. As far as flow is concerned, I went for these two J-Cod SLW 10s, and I've got them sort of running in sync with each other, so when one comes on the other goes off, which creates a sort of wave effect. Lighting wise, I've went for a Red Sea Reef LED 50, which is an ideal light for a tank of this size. The tank also came with this sort of handy glass lid. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it long term or not. Came with these sort of ugly plastic clip-on holders. So that about covers it, guys. I hope you found this interesting and inspiring. In the next video I'll go into a bit more detail about the equipment and how I'm actually going about maintaining this tank, what I'm dosing and what I'm doing to keep these Acropora and other SPS alive in such a small tank. So I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Adios.